Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by DC Gomez, author of Plague Unleashed. DC, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. It's a pleasure.
Are you ready to get started?
I am ready. Let's go.
All right. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
The best advice that I was given was to actually just write the book and not edit. So I was told whenever you start writing, do the whole book. Don't go back. Don't reread. Have your writer's hat on, and then when you're done with it, then go back. Then put the editor's hat on. Or else you're going to spend half of your time killing yourself in one paragraph, and the book's never going to get done.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Probably managing expectations and timelines. A lot of times we get stuck with the shiny objects, and we get stuck trying to do everything and not truly have a strategy in place. So book publishing is really important to realize, when are you trying to release a book? What are your different steps having to place in terms of you're looking at your editing, you're looking at covers, you're looking at all those moving pieces that if you're not thinking strategically, things will fall through the crack.
Yeah, I think with publishing, there's nothing difficult, but there's just so many tedious little things. And if you just miss one thing, it can totally jack up the process.
And it happens so easily that you take it for granted. You're like, what? It's going to take 2 more weeks to edit instead of 1? Oh my God, what do I do? So yes.
Yeah, and I think systems are key. It's always good to have a proven system. And, when you do have those curveballs that hit, you just have to be prepared for them and just move on to the next step.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that worked well.
Believe it or not, is stacking promotions is one thing that I learned that works really well for me. So instead of, I know other people tend to do one promotion campaign 1 week, pick a different kind of marketing place. I found that if you do 2 to 3 at once, you reach a huge amount of people all at once and give your book that launch that it needs with that speed that you're looking for. So if you happen to stack, whether you're doing online, whether you're doing through Amazon ads, whatever you're doing, to do 3 at the same time within 1 or 2 days, and you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think stacking promos definitely makes a difference. Now, you're talking about 2 to 3 all in one day, or 2 to 3 throughout a week?
I actually do them all in one day. I usually do them all on the same start date.
Yeah, and it definitely helps with that, especially when you're going through the book launch, stacking different promos, different days, where you just want to build it towards a peak, towards a crescendo, and then from that point let it hit the peak, then move it up to regular price and see how it goes from there.
It actually made a huge difference because I was doing one campaign 1 week, then waiting a couple of weeks, and it just didn't seem to pick up. So it became very frustrating because I wanted to reach people in order to create that momentum with the book. So having been able to stack them, it actually really did create some kind of, synergy with the book.
Yeah, for our book launch marketing service, we use over 20 different companies for the book promos. And that's the thing, we actually created a system that we perfected over 3 years because it took a while to get it right, because certain promos weren't always the best fit for the certain type of book. So you really had to figure out what was going to work best. And the only way you get to learn that is by testing. So it's one of the key things where you find the right promos for the right days and you build it up, because when your book launches, you've only got the first 30 days to make that maximum impact, because that is the time in which your book is considered a brand new release. And especially on Amazon right now, with all the books that are flooding the market, that you have to really take advantage of those first 30 days to make sure your book gets out there and doesn't disappear into the Amazon rainforest.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about your favorite book. So what is your favorite book? And what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
The Alchemist is actually my favorite book. My dad gave it to me in Spanish when I was growing up. And one of the things about the book that I love is the fact it's all about your dreams. It's all about following your dreams, regardless of how unrealistic or how huge they seem. I love the theory of this young boy who's a shepherd boy traveling across Spain to find a pot of gold, pretty much, if you want to think about it that way. But the book, anytime I'm having those days and I'm discouraged or I need another, pick me up, The Alchemist says that way. And it's a really short book, been around for over 20 years. But it's all about that theory that we can do whatever we dream of if we really try, if we really work hard.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
This one might shock you. So I'm prior military. So my favorite quote that my drill sergeants used to tell me is, mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it reminds me of an old quote. It's about the mind and the body. And not controlling the body, but controlling the mind. I think Jimmy Johnson actually used that quote when he was coaching the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. I usually get this quote a lot when I was running. Because, he was like, no, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Keep going. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We got 3 miles to go. I mind. I'm like, no, you don't. Just keep running.
Yeah, mind over matter. I don't mind because it don't matter.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, DC, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
If you're looking for my newsletter, which is really funny, if you're looking for quirky fun every month, I would say you can go to my website, which is www.dcgomez-author.com. I'm also on Facebook at dcgomez.author or on Instagram at dc.gomez.
Well, DC, I want to thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm totally honored. Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.